How the heck do you make Metro Manila walkable?
This is an interesting one because if you've ever watched our travel vlogs in the Philippines, you know one of our biggest complaints about the metro area is how unwalkable the streets are. You'll be walking on uh, a dang sidewalk as big as a spaghetti noodle, and then all of a sudden it'll disappear into a 5 lane highway, and you're like, oh,
I,
nice.
one of the things we do when we vlog, and if you didn't know, we have a travel vlog channel, Tri-Fate Lifestyle. You can check that out. We're gonna be making Philippines videos very soon on that channel. So go check it out right now. Link in the description below. But we walk around cities a lot. We just walk down streets, and in the Philippines, bumper to bumper traffic next to no sidewalks makes things very difficult for us, especially when we're trying to vlog. So dang, how do you make it more walkable?
Let's see this dang thing. I will say, the dang malls, if they connect to each other, they're very walkable.
Yeah,
Dang
that's true.
Makati.
Makati and
Just
BGC are definitely the most
unfriendly. It's
walkable areas
downright
we've been to
hostile
in
for
Metro.
commuters or anyone trying to find other ways of moving around except for riding
Is there a guy in
cars
the
or
river back there?
getting on
There's a
vehicles.
few guys in the river.
This it's probably the children.
Ah, yeah, true.
This is very close to where we saw those children that jumped into the river.
Yeah.
That literally might be those children. And this video's from a year ago.
Was that the day?
It might be those same dang kids.
Or trying to get to any of our mass transit systems that are totally inadequate also for the in itself, no. And of course, the biggest fault
Dang
is
it,
the
so-
way we've planned land
Look
use
at that
in
road.
the metropolis, which is not a rational process nowadays. It is not in sync with the infrastructure that is needed to get
Oh, the river's
people
that shallow?
and goods
What the heck?
moving around in the metropolis.
This
Connect the
guy's
dots.
talking about stuff, and we're concerned about these kids ankle deep in the river behind him.
It is true what he's saying about, like, the public transits don't really connect to each other.
We can't get to BGC from Quezon City without getting off and getting in a grab, which makes it so hard to get there that we don't even bother going.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, if you want to take, like, the actual public transit route, it'll literally take you, like, an extra 2 hours or something.
It's not doable. The only thing we're basically able to do, unless we're literally going to have like a 5 hour round trip day, is just stay on locations down EDSA because our condo just is right next to it. So yeah, that's the only way we can.
Us to be able to get people from one mode of transport to the other. We measure travel distances by the
We've never
number
taken
of
a riverboat.
transfers. Problem is the
Still not, yeah.
intermodal or in between transitions between say bus to jeepney,
Yeah.
jeepney, tricycle to jeepney, jeepney to
Yeah.
bus to MRT.
It's a lot.
In almost all these situations in these transitions in Metro Manila and other cities in the Philippines, there is no accommodation for comfort, safety, and convenience of the computer. You're left to your own devices, and
Yeah.
usually
There you go. That's
even
a
no
typical
sidewalks
vision
for
you'd
you
see in the Philippines.
to walk
Yep.
on. So it's really not that far from the MRT over there, but you need to cross down the interchange.
We've been on
It's
this
a
one
very,
before.
narrow sidewalk to the
And
jeep
that can be
stop
really
from
busy
there.
sometimes. And
You
then
have to cross
the walking
another
is
wide
so-so.
road, and if you notice, there are very few pedestrian crossings which are not signalized, and so none of these vehicles
I mean-
will stop for you.
One of the biggest, like, every time we end up going to like BGC on like a weekend night, like around like 8 o'clock or 7 or 8 o'clock, we always want to kind of leave, and that's a busy area on Friday and Saturday night. So getting a grab becomes very difficult on that time. So we always end up walking from BGC to EDSA, and it takes like 30 minutes.
Yeah, well, we'll like walk all the way to like Buendia or Guadalupe.
Yeah, it's there. I know that they're working on a lot of stuff, but it's really hard
The
to
thing
get
with-
around.
The thing with the working on a lot of stuff too, from what I've just seen being here still in the Philippines, like even SM, they have this like they were advertising this new busway interchange, something that was going to be completed in December.
Well,
And it is not done yet.
Oh man, I wonder when that is gonna be done.
I don't know. It looked pretty nice. They were working on it hard out there.
It's
Should be pretty soon.
I get that. I mean, I understand that it's very, very hard to do infrastructure things in the Philippines, in Manila specifically, because it's so busy. I mean, imagine if they wanted to repave EDSA.
Oh my
They-
gosh.
how-
All of a sudden, those roads that can only fit one car each
Yeah,
way
it
are all of
wouldn't
a sudden
work.
having to fit way more people. Yeah,
It-
I mean, it makes
it
sense.
wouldn't
The
work.
city is. There's a lot of people in the city.
I don't- it's a difficult situation. I don't know what the planners are supposed to do. The city's so busy.
So your chances of getting from one point to the other are at best 50-50 every day. Because there are no more sidewalks.
Man, we're
is to
lucky.
Do an elevated bridge from the MRT, crossing over. Actually, there's a very big park there that
Oh,
the city
there is a
of
park there.
Makati spent
We've
tens
seen
of
that
millions
before. We're
of
like, why is there a
pesos.
park under this bridge that nobody can get to?
Oh yeah, when we ride the MRT.
Yeah. And there's no way to
Tens
get
of
to it.
millions of pesos to build.
Gosh.
And I don't know how much a month to maintain. Yet almost nobody
Yeah.
takes advantage of that amenity because you can't cross to the park, and the park
Yeah.
itself
Yep.
is gated. And if we have this overhead connection, then you can do two things. You have visual relief of all of the
Oh, yeah.
greenery and physical
Yeah,
relief
I mean, look
by
at that. That would
being
be so
able to
nice.
access
Yeah, it
the
would.
park itself. And from that park, you'll cross again over to JP Rizal. So you can get on the jeepney that takes you east or west. And from there, also across to the riverside. The cost of such infrastructure is 1/100 of the cost per linear meter compared to infrastructure for cars. You have
True.
the bridge, but you don't have a pedestrian sidewalk. So how are you going to get from one side to the other?
I see how you do it right here
Yeah, I
with
mean,
all
look
the
at that. You're
kids.
getting a demonstration.
But the cost,
There's somebody in there.
I thought so.
Oh
I
man.
couldn't tell if those were legs or not.
Oh man. You're there at the wrong time. You're going in the river.
of bridging this, you only need 2 meters, right? Again, the cost per linear meter of this additional space is 1/100 of the cost of the bridge itself. But yet, how many pedestrians can you accommodate and bring convenience to? It's a no-brainer. So that's the MRT, Guadalupe. And it's almost impossible to really get down there very quickly and cross to enjoy the park that's already there. You can see the fountain. Sayang. And then you have to walk all the way in very narrow sidewalks, especially during rush hour. That means you're 5, 6, 7 people
Ortiga's
abreast,
rush hour, those
while
narrow
the-
sidewalks,
while
remember
the,
that?
Yeah, my
allowance
gosh. The
for
Ortigas
sidewalk
area is really
minus
rough
the
with
poles
how
is maybe
small
only
the
1
sidewalks
meter
are.
or less.
Yeah.
When you design sidewalks, you will never see any road in the Philippines where a lane is blocked by a pole, right? Yet our infrastructure
We made that thing.
planners assume that pedestrians will step down to the pavement and walk around a utility pole. The utility poles should not be where they are. They should be given their own space. And from there, you can connect to the park if we cross over with a bridge. And from that
What the
bridge
heck do
also
people with
cross over
wheelchairs
to
do?
near beside the
Don't exist. They just stay inside the malls
Yeah.
or don't leave
Yeah.
their house.
Pasig River
Alright.
and be able to get
Probably
on the
very
ferry
expensive. I mean, look at that.
in
Wow,
less
that'd be so
than
nice.
5 minutes.
It
When
would.
today it will take maybe 15 minutes if you're lucky to survive. If you look down, the easement of the river, the bottom of the revetment is actually 2 meters forward. So you can expand the sidewalk by what is called a cantilever. So you can construct an extension without compromising
That'd be huge.
the width of the Pasig itself. And this can be done in a lot of the areas up and down the Pasig River where private or public infrastructure has usurped the required 5-meter easements. So our laws state that urban waterways must have an easement of 5 meters on either side. In the countryside, it's up to 20 meters. And the reason for that is to ensure that the waterways can be maintained, that there is access. So this access, if recovered, can be a boon to commuters and pedestrians because now they can walk farther distances than what they can do now.
It's a very interesting video because, I mean, we're vloggers, right? And we notice that a lot of other vloggers and a lot of people that watch vlogs, their big thing is when there's like a new nice area that's built, they get really excited and they want everyone to go check it out. And a lot of Filipinos in Manila get really excited and they want to go check it out either. But as people like us who like the Philippines and want to see the Philippines improve, I think the country would be way cooler. The city would be way nicer, and maybe people wouldn't get as excited, but they would benefit so much more of it. Instead of building one of those really nice areas, just spend that money and bump out all the sidewalks. Make some really nice sidewalks along the rivers. Make all these nice walkways from all the MRTs. Make everything connect. Can you imagine how much of a difference that would make for people in their everyday lives?
I mean, there's like big movements for this in the U.S. and everyone owns a car in the U.S.
Yeah.
And in the metro, I'm assuming I remember seeing a stat about it. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I remember like most people don't own like a car.
It's like
Obviously, people have
4%.
bikes and stuff.
Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was something like that. It was something crazy, and like especially a lot of the young people who are like trying to like start their careers and stuff, they're not going to be able to afford a car here, so
No.
everyone's walking. The streets are so busy with walking, and it's crazy that there's like very little infrastructure for it.
The best infrastructure like we've seen for like walking across areas is like by SM North. They actually have all those bridges that cross the street,
Yeah.
and that's
And-
one of the only places that I recall that they like actually have a lot of those.
And then the dang thing about that too is sometimes those will still lead into the street, and then it's always up, down, up, down.
Or it
if
leads
you're
into-
if you're a dang wheelchair in a dang wheelchair, I don't know what the heck you're doing.
It leads into the end of a parking lot for some reason, that one.
Yeah.
And it's closed before 8 or 10 a.m. or whatever the heck. There's just a lot of things like that need to be improved, and, you know.
We want to see that improvement.
Yeah,
because
we do.
We really like this place, and we're not even just saying it for ourselves because we never leave our dang condos in the first place.
It's a work
We
in
just-
progress.
We just see this stuff out there. Like, we see people struggling with stuff like that, and we're like, wow, this would be nicer if it wasn't like that.
It needs to happen, and they're making strides towards it, but it seems like it's not the biggest focus, and it could be the biggest focus because, like, once again, most people don't commute with a car, so it's kind of a big deal. So it's interesting. It's good that people like this guy are kind of raising awareness for it, and let's see what
Maybe you
happens in the
can,
next
too.
10 years. Let's see what happens in the next 10 years. So let's see. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.